Hello and welcome to In Business Talks 2. We're excited to welcome you to our bonus episode, The Friday Fix. We are your hosts, Tracy and Ian Earle, founders of In Business, a networking and business support community. And together, we are In Business.
Every Friday, we will be discussing a business-related subject with either one of our wonderful In Business networking members or a fellow business owner who will be sharing their advice, thoughts or knowledge on a particular topic. Oh, and make sure you listen to the end of the show to hear our guests tell us about their favourite networking tip.
This week's episode is called Managing Your Time as a Business Owner, and our special guest is Jeannette Morgan of I Can Do It VA Services. We hope you enjoy.
Our special guest this week is Jeannette Morgan of I Can Do It VA Services. Hi, Jeannette.
Hi, Jeannette.
Hi there.
Okay. Do you just want to tell us a little bit about what you do? We know you've been running a VA business for, is it about 12 months or so now?
That's right, yeah. So I started my business in April 2020. And my main focus really is providing that administration and marketing support to the small business owners who really need someone to give them that extra pair of hands, but don't necessarily want to take on a full-time employee and have that commitment to a permanent member of staff. The support services I offer are all based predominantly around Microsoft Office, doing internet research, administration, copy typing, anything really that a secretary, a PA would do for you.
And are you finding that more people are looking for these sorts of services now? Have you noticed a shift in people's attitude towards, well, we need help, we want to grow our business, we need the services of a good VA?
I think there definitely is, yes. And obviously, I didn't have my business at the time, but the recession periods are notoriously a good period for VAs. And certainly talking to those that have been established businesses for a long time, when the last recession hit, it actually was a massive boost to the VA industry. And a lot of that, I think, is around the fact that people don't have to have that same commitment as they have to an employee. They can buy your services as and when needed, and they haven't got the stress. They don't have to worry about a place for you to work, the equipment, because we provide everything ourselves.
Sounds like the perfect solution.
Yeah.
So, what would you say is the most common problem that business owners face, in your opinion?
I think one of the biggest problems is time management. Mm-hmm. So many small business owners, particularly sole traders, think because they are a sole trader that they need to do everything themselves. And that's far from the case.
Yeah, I think we're a bit guilty of that.
Yeah, falling into that trap.
Definitely fall into that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's actually getting them to understand that because they're a sole trader, they don't have to do everything themselves. And in fact, they shouldn't be doing everything themselves. Nobody can have the talents to do absolutely everything across the board. And so they will be far more profitable and of far more benefit to their own business if they actually identify where their talent areas are and focus on those. And the other things that, yes, are important and essential to the business, but get someone who specialises in those areas to do them. And I've worked with a number of business owners recently, and that's been one of the biggest challenges. I've maybe gone in there, they've maybe asked me if I could do a particular piece of work for them. And then when I've actually got talking to them, discovered that there's so many things that they are struggling with, but think, oh, I need to do that myself. I need to do that.
Yeah.
When in actual fact, they would grow their business far quicker by taking someone on to do those and then focusing on their customers, on growing the business, on the clients and that development.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of the stuff I think people do as when you're a sole trader is, if you do, you really don't need to do it. It's not really helping your business move forward. It's stuff that you have to do, isn't it, to keep it going, but it doesn't help you drive the business forward, does it? It's not you working on your business, is it? It's not making you develop it in any way. So no, it's I can imagine a VA would be really useful.
That's right. And that's, as I say, that's one of the biggest challenges. I actually have 3 steps that I encourage people to actually look at when they say that they are struggling for time. So the first thing to do really is to actually spend a couple of weeks, and it sounds a bind, but it's well worth doing, to actually sit down and take a note of how long it takes you to do everything you do in the day. And that's not necessarily only work things. That includes, particularly in the female business owners, that includes things like preparing meals, cleaning, washing and ironing, gardening, all those sorts of things. So all the household chores as well. And a couple of business mentors that I've worked with, one of the things that they actually recommend nowadays to people, one of the first things they say is, particularly for a female starting her own business, get a cleaner.
Ooh.
I thought you were going to say there, Janet, get the man to do it.
No, get a cleaner. Because although you might not be doing it, you sat there thinking, I really need to clean the house. I need to hoover the bedroom. I need to do this. Get someone in to do that. By taking that away from you, you can actually focus on what you're meant to be doing with your business then.
So we'll ignore that one, Tracy. You can't have a cleaner. Sorry.
Jeanette's just given me permission to get one.
Okay, then.
So.
Yeah, that's it. So it's writing down everything that you do in a day and how long it takes. And then actually looking at those things and actually breaking it down into, what am I good at? What do I enjoy doing? And what am I really struggling with? And those things that you're struggling with are then the things that you look at and decide, so what can I do about it? If I'm struggling, is there someone that can help me? Is there some form of training I can do that will help me to do it better if it's something that really I feel I need to do myself? Or is it something that I can actually outsource and bring someone in to support me in? Following those 3 steps, and once you actually get to that point of a list of the things that you can outsource, then you can actually identify who you can bring in and start looking for those people to support you in your business. So one of the things I've done recently is I've actually taken someone on board to write blogs for me. And yet you think, well, isn't that one of the things a VA does? But for my business, I'm actually finding it difficult to find the time to write those blogs for myself. So I've taken someone on to support me in that area. So these are all things that you can work on and look at developing.
Is there some sort of, or do you know of any sort of template that people could use to log the times and things? Or is it just a matter of getting a pad and just writing down what you do?
There are various sorts of time management apps out there that you can use. But to be honest, a simple spreadsheet, a notepad, where you just jot down how long it's taking to do different things. So a simple spreadsheet would do, or as I say, sometimes having pen and paper at the side of you is far easier than trying to log it anywhere else.
I think I'd rather have a pen and paper.
Well, Gemma suggested to us Clockify. Now, it's all right having it there, but it's, like you say, it's remembering to
turn it on and
off.
That's right, yeah. There's Clockify, there's Timular, there's lots of different apps out there, but it is remembering then to turn it on and off. If you've got pen and paper at the side of you, then it's very easy just to quickly jot something down.
Yeah,
true,
definitely.
True.
Yeah, so that's very much, it's logging it, identifying the things that you're good at and should be doing, and the things that you're maybe struggling with. And then the third step is actually doing something about those things.
Yeah. And like you say, I suppose it is working to your strengths as well, isn't it? Why waste your time doing something when you could be more valuable doing something else and growing your business? So I can see the benefit. Yeah.
It's a case of what your time is worth, isn't it?
That's right. It's how much your time is worth and what can you gain. And one of the big things in sort of looking at outside support is, if I charge more for my time than I'm paying someone else, then it's a benefit to pay someone so that I can concentrate on my business and doing things for other people. And that's one of the big sort of measurements there almost.
Yeah.
And the people that you've done this for or helped, have they noticed a big difference in the business? And have they said, "Oh, it's been great having you on board because I've saved this amount of time. I can now focus on that"? Have they come back to you and said, "Wow, this has been brilliant, Jeanette. This is great. Now we've saved hours of time"?
So I've had a number of clients. One particular client who I started off just doing a couple of forms for, and basically the initial brief was, I've got a couple of forms that really need prettifying up. And that was 2 forms. I now work on a monthly basis with that client. I've taken on much more of the administration. So basically anything where he had lots of handwritten notes, I sort of put those notes into order. So we're actually now in the process of dividing things up into producing sort of an operations section, a networking, so a list of contacts that may be useful to him in the future, doing some competitor research, looking at what his competitors are charging. And certainly over the past 12 months, when businesses have had to adapt so much, looking at what his competitors have done to change and how he can make changes in his business to still stay ahead of the market, be competitive out there. So that's quite a lot of the work that I've done.
You can save hours of time, can't you, if you think about it carefully? If you get someone who's got the skills, and has that freed him up, this person, this chap and lady, whatever, to
that's right. That's freed
more.
up his time, so he's actually able to spend more time talking to potential clients and getting more business in, which ultimately, brings in more money, brings in more profit. So that's one of the big aims. Another client I've been working with, I've done a lot of research. So they've been looking at specific marketing campaigns and they have a sales manager. So you say, well, can't they do the research? But then for the sales manager, it's actually quite time consuming getting those initial contacts. They've been able to use my services. Is we've agreed we'd have 50 companies in the motor trade industry. I found those 50 companies, contacted them, got the name of the person to speak to. So then the sales manager is able to go straight in there to the right person. So the sales manager is not spending their time trying to find out who to speak to. They actually know who to speak to. And again, it focuses what they're doing and they're able to go straight in there and hopefully turn those sales around much quicker.
Makes sense, doesn't it? That makes sense, because researching things is so time consuming, isn't it? And like you say, it's stuff that has to be done, but sometimes you think, oh, good grief, it's it's taking far longer than I anticipated. If you've got somebody else who can do it for you, you can get to the heart of the matter fairly quickly then, can't you?
It sounds like a great way to develop your business as well, because you're working with your clients, offering them different things that they perhaps wouldn't even thought about themselves.
That's right. And it's getting to know their business and talking to them. And certainly the clients that I've sort of working with on a regular basis, I feel that I'm now in a position where I can actually make suggestions to them and sort of throw ideas out there. I've been doing some event management. Again, on this, it was online events, obviously. Post-event, they've previously just been sending out a slide pack. The events are all being done on Zoom. So I said, well, actually, instead of just sending a slide pack, why not record the sessions and send out the full recording? That way, people get the feedback then, they get the interaction, they get the questions and answers, and you get a much more all-round picture and something more to refer back to than just a set of PowerPoint slides.
Yeah, you get something a bit more interactive almost, don't you? It's a bit more,
That's right. And because one of the things that actually came out, some of the sessions that I listened into, and one of the things that came out on there was that people were saying, the slides are great, but actually what we get out of this more is the comments, the interaction, the dialogue that goes along with it. Getting a set of PowerPoint slides, you don't get that same interaction as you do by getting the full recording. And the full recording jogs your memory. Oh yeah, remember that question. And that's what we're now starting to do.
So Jeanette, we know that you're a seasoned networker since starting your business. What tip would you have for somebody who was new to networking?
Not to be put off and to stick with it. One of the big things that I found was you need to start and build those relationships. Talking to people that other people who network, and someone say, oh, I went twice and I got nothing from it. Don't expect to get results overnight. You need to build those relationships. But if you work at the networking, then it works for you. I've found the majority of my business customers have come through networking, whether that's online meetings or whether that's through networking even on social media. But that's where most of my clients have come from.
Yeah, it's great word of mouth, isn't it?
But it's a case of building that confidence. I was fortunate in that the first networking group I came to was yourselves.
Oh, excellent. Bless you.
But it was friendly. You put us at ease. We were welcomed into the group. There were other networks that I did attend 1 or 2 meetings of. And had I gone to those first, I might not have found it quite as easy. So it is about picking the right groups, but then sticking with those groups and don't keep swapping and changing every month, because you won't get that build-up of relationships there.
Yeah, it is. Consistency is the key.
Yeah, and it is all about relationships at the end of the day, isn't it? That is definitely the key, is that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for that, Jeanette. That's really
it was really good.
advice.
Enjoyed that. Yeah. If people want to get in touch with you, I'm sure you have a website. If you tell us your company name again and your website or your email address or whatever that might be.
The company is I Can Do It VA Services. My website is icandoitvaservices.com. And my email address is quite simply Jeannette@icandoitvaservices.com. I'm also on LinkedIn and Facebook, and you can contact me through either of those as well.
Great.
Yeah, we'll put those in the show notes as well, won't we? So
thank you very much, Jeanette.
Yeah,
that
excellent.
Was, great talking to you.
Yeah, nice to chat with you.
See you at one of our meetings.
And thank you again. It's been good having you on the show.
Take care.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeanette.
Yeah, thank you for your time. That's been great.
Bye.
All right,
Bye-bye.
thanks.
We're almost at the end of this week's show, but before we go, we are excited to tell you about our In Business Talks To episode this coming Tuesday. Our special guests on next week's podcast are Perrin and Lincoln of Roth Reed Photography. We're really looking forward to speaking to them and digging deeper into their experiences as a business couple.
If you'd like to find out more about our in-business networking events, then please go to our website, which is weareinbusiness.co.uk, or you can click on the link in the show notes to book yourself a place, and we look forward to seeing you. Thank you so much for joining us this week on In Business Talks 2, Friday Fix. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you have, all that we ask is that you simply tell a friend about the show. We'd really appreciate it.
Until next time, this is Ian and Tracy, and together
we are In Business. Goodbye.
Goodbye.